when you're out and about? Because you're in Florida, where the weather's a little better. You can probably wear a tank top almost every day. But what's that for you when you're out
Yeah,
there in the
yeah.
world?
Well, definitely when I'm in prep, I mean, I get comments all the time. Usually, people are just really just almost like amazed and curious. So I'm at the grocery store, constantly, being talked to and asked, "Oh, what do you eat?" And people are very curious about the bodybuilding lifestyle, like what I eat, and they're actually surprised at how much I do eat. Like the other day, I bought a couple of cookies to treat myself since I'm in my off season, and the cashier was like looking at me and like, you eat this? It's like, yeah, I do enjoy cookies every once in a while. In the off season, I get less commentary, but I think I'm at the size now where whether I'm in season or in off season, I forget how I look. I again, it's that body dysmorphia of like you're never big enough, so you think you're like everybody else, but then when I'm out, then people will be looking at me or whatnot, or asking me questions and making comments, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I look a little different.
Yeah, because I think that's one thing about the body dysmorphia, how you're changing your body. I know some ladies who have dealt with something like food addiction. Some people deal with the mental health aspect of the body, but people got to understand because you're changing your body. You're changing for something that is like I've seen women who said they were like skinny, and then they're built up, their muscles are growing, they're developing, and your mind and your body is two things have to work together because if one's not working, the other one's not going to work with it.
Yeah. It's a lot. You have to have those boundaries too. And in your off season, and even, I allow myself to eat certain things and not have like an emotional attachment to it, because, it can be a very slippery slope. I mean, I'm grateful that I never had any issues with, eating disorders before, but I could definitely see how this, could, create those issues, or, trigger people. So it's tough. And, I'm at a point now where I can appreciate, the extra fat in the off season, really appreciate my body in both ways, when I'm shredded and when I'm not. But it's a journey for everybody. It took me a minute to get here, and everybody's kind of like on their own journey with that. So.
Yeah. So this is a good question. What's the plan for 2024? The list is already out. They updated. I've talked about how Women's Bodybuilding has fewer shows. Physique has picked up a few more shows this year. So
Mhm.
are you just going to say, I'm just sit and just chill out, or you feel like you want to hit another show?
No, I feel like I've got a couple years to really give bodybuilding my all, because I am 40, so realistically, I'm not 20 anymore, or 30. So and I have been competing, in other sports. So I realize that I have kind of like a window of time now to really, really push for this. So I do intend on competing this year. I'm looking at Tampa Pro. I would like to do a Tampa Pro again. It's right here in my backyard, so it's hard not to do that. So if the body cooperates and I have a good prep, which I'm probably going to start in April with a prep, it'll be Tampa Pro, and I do want to do another show that it looks like maybe Daytona again, but actually doing women's physique at Daytona.
Yes, I know a lady who confronted with Jada. She made a return after she was in bodybuilding, and she took a year off, and she competed at the Daytona. It's a show where it's one of the shows where, like I said again, it's I think starting to become a popular show because also it's a master show because you
Mm-hmm.
are over 40. You can
Mm-hmm.
compete in masters if you want, and there was the Masters Olympia last year. They say it's supposed to come next year,
Mm-hmm.
so. Would you feel like you want to do both masters and open, or you feel like what, I'm just going to stick with open?
I think I'm going to stick with open. Yeah, I think I'm just going to focus on that. I mean, if some opportunities, come up, and maybe it's like the Masters Olympia. I mean, who knows? At this point, I can't say, never. But for right now, my focus is the open, women's physique, and really kind of giving that my all. And this is actually the first off season that, I'm really doing everything that I have to do, because I mean, I'll be honest, I've never checked all the boxes in the off season, like practicing my posing in the off season, prioritizing my weak areas, not training legs because I like it, and really taking a lot of the powerlifting movements out of my training and focusing on those isolation movements for the weak areas. Again, and now I have enough data to really, bring in the conditioning that I want to bring while keeping my size. So I'm actually really excited for this upcoming year, this season, because this is really like 100% effort on my part, doing everything I need to do.
Yeah. Are you working with a posing coach? Like say, posing your weakness. Are you working with a posing coach?
Yeah, well, right now, currently in my off season, I'm kind of just, practicing on my own, but I did, hire Christina Mendoza, which she did, fantastic job, prepping me with my posing for figure, which, I had never done anything in heels. That was my first time, I didn't even know how to walk in the heels. So, we did some virtual sessions for figure, and, she got me at a good point that I felt at least comfortable on stage. My whole goal was like, don't fall. That was my goal, not to fall.
Yeah.
But no, it went well. I was happy with the posing for figure. And then I worked with her for the Atlantic Coast Pro, which she kind of tweaked my women's physique posing, which, believe it or not, that time away actually improved my poses. When I started doing them again, I was like, wow, this is looking a lot better. I'm flowing better. I really then fell in love with the posing because it was the first time ever creating a night routine on my own. The routine for the night show, I had never done it on my own, and I actually choreographed it, and it felt amazing because it was mine. It was mine. So I think going forward, I'll probably continue doing my own evening routine. But Christina did a great job with the posing, so I intend on using her for this season once I start prepping.
Well, shout out to Christina Mendoza. We hope she can make a comeback next year because last year she had some medical issues. She had to step back. She missed the Olympia. She might, if she gets the right show. She did Chicago last year. We got a qualification. Shout out to Tim Gardner, who I was hearing people saying they may not be women's bodybuilding at the Chicago Pro, but thanks to him, it's still there. Shout out to him. He's the promoter for the Tampa Bay Pro. Shout out to him as again. And yeah, I think that if you are determined to do what you want to do in the sport, if you can think, if you're able to get to that next level, because it's going to be tough, because you have to deal with women who compete for a long time. You have, like I said again, as the division is starting to evolve, it's getting closer to women's bodybuilding more as physique. I was a big fan of physique when it first came out. I call it watered down women's bodybuilding, but I've interviewed ladies like you in the division, and also ladies in figure, and I really, really want to get the understanding of like like I said, I must have heard smoke, but from my interviews with you ladies, I learned some stuff. What it takes to be a competitor? It's tough. It's a lot of time, a lot of money, and so much sacrifices. And I think there should be more for you as a competitor, like benefits. Like, okay, if something happens, you get sick, okay, you're taken care of. I mean, if you pay like $300 some every year for your pro card, maybe that should go into something like a go, like not go, a 401k or something. Those little things that can help, especially take the burden off you competitors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one can only hope.
Yeah, it's going to
Well,
cost you
I
some.
gotta say, there's not, as you say, there's not much money in bodybuilding, but there was even less in powerlifting. So, that's one thing that, I'm grateful to be in this sport now, is because